We finally have confirmation that the Russians are using modern projectiles for their tanks, specifically their most modern APFSDS projectiles. Several months ago I made a video about how Russians have only been seen using old Soviet-era APFSDS projectiles, mostly 3BM42 Mango. But it appears that they have actually decided to deploy their latest 3BM60 APFSDS ammunition. A picture was posted by the Russian unit where some soldiers took pictures of the projectile, even taking pictures of it next to the already mentioned 3BM42, most likely for comparison, where we can see that the 3BM60 is clearly longer. And yeah, I know it says BM66 on it, but that is the assembly. The designation of the projectile is 3BM60. It is possible that Russia decided to start using these modern projectiles because of the new NATO tanks, like Leopard 2, soon coming to Ukraine. But the Russians said that the projectiles were deployed before, and that we just didn't see them. I'm not really sure if I believe that, since, as I said in my previous video, there was no actual reason to deploy such ammunition, since 3BM42 was more than good enough to deal with Ukrainian tanks. But maybe they decided to deploy them in small amounts after so many of their tanks got captured by Ukrainians. Who knows? Whatever it is, now we know they are there. The question is only in what amount exactly. It is possible that Russia started ramping up the production of such projectiles since the start of the war, since they have noticeably increased the production of T-90M tanks in this period. But we can't know for sure. These projectiles will undoubtedly have much higher chances of helping the Russians deal with the NATO tanks. Now, how effective they actually are against them, we can't know. It also largely depends on the tank. There is no doubt in my mind that these projectiles can reliably penetrate the old Leopard 2A4 tanks coming from Poland, because of their old armor package from the early 80s. But about the rest, like the German Leopard 2A6, I can't say anything. The turret of that tank is especially a very hard nut to crack. It isn't clear though what tanks actually received these projectiles. I've seen people saying it could be for the T-90M tanks, which is likely, but tanks like T-72B3 and T-80BVM can also fire this projectile without any problems. It is just that the old unmodified tanks like the T-72B that can't. Also, we do have the data for this projectile from an exhibition, but it is only the data for 60 degrees at 2 km on a rolled homogeneous steel. This doesn't really mean much, since rolled homogeneous steel penetration does not equal the same performance on composite armor, since modern armors differ drastically. It also doesn't help that Russia and NATO don't have the same standards when it comes to these kinds of tests. So again, we can't know its exact performance against modern tank armors. All we know is that it is better than 3BM42. That would be all. You can consider supporting me on Patreon. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Have a nice day.